She was lovable, she was caring, she had this infectious laugh that...
Brother of 26-year-old Nikaya Logan, who is accused of stabbing the pregnant woman and setting her body on fire.
Suspicions that it could be the brother may have been involved, and he ran for police, which is something very typical of a guilty person.
She was really happy, and I was supposed to be the godmom of the baby.
The family members have just confirmed that Nikaya was 8 months pregnant with baby Noah, and now this comes right after the family just threw her a baby shower over the weekend. Now, 2 lives have been cut short.
On December 11, 2022, Nikaya Rebecca Logan celebrated a joyous milestone in her life, a baby shower surrounded by friends and family. It was a heartfelt event, filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a bright future. Nikaya, eagerly anticipating the birth of her son, was overjoyed by the support from those she cherished most. To her, the gathering symbolized the beginning of a beautiful chapter in her life. But tragically, just 2 days after this celebration of new life, the love in the heart of one family member turned deadly. In an unimaginable twist, both Nikaya and her unborn baby paid the ultimate price. Nikaya lived with her family in Fresno, California, a city nestled in the heart of the San Joaquin Valley. Fresno is often described by its residents as peaceful and charming, a place where dreams are nurtured. Locals enjoy spending their leisure time visiting parks or exploring the area's famous farm trails. Despite its calm exterior, Fresno, like any city, has its share of darkness. Fresno, California, experiences a high crime rate compared to national averages. Violent crimes in Fresno are 134% higher than the U.S. average, and residents have a 1 in 24 chance of becoming victims of crime. Unbeknownst to Nikaya, as she prepared for her baby shower, the shadows of this darker side were inching closer, ultimately surrounding her in a devastating tragedy. Before we begin the story, we want to extend our deepest condolences to the friends and loved ones of Nikaya Rebecca Logan and her unborn baby. This unimaginable loss has left a void that can never be filled, and our thoughts are with all those who knew and cherished her during this difficult time. Nikaya Logan was a 26-year-old woman studying at Fresno City College with dreams of becoming a child care worker. Her passion for working with children was evident to everyone who knew her. Unlike many, Nikaya had always found joy in helping kids, particularly those in challenging circumstances. Her ultimate goal was to work in the social services system, where she hoped to make a lasting impact on children in need. She planned to start as a teaching assistant in an elementary school to gain experience before transitioning into social work. She was on a clear path, determined to achieve her dreams. Unexpectedly, Nikaya found herself pregnant. Although the pregnancy wasn't planned, she embraced it with enthusiasm. Her love for children made the thought of having one of her own exciting, even if the timing wasn't ideal. She knew that balancing motherhood and her ambitions would be challenging, but she believed she could succeed. Nikaya was realistic about the sacrifices she'd need to make and the adjustments her life would require. She understood it might take longer to achieve her goals, but her unwavering optimism kept her grounded. Nikaya's warm and joyful nature was her hallmark. Those who knew her described her as a happy soul, someone who radiated positivity and love wherever she went.
She was lovable, she was caring, she had this infectious laugh that just made you want to just laugh more and more. I was just in a state of shock. I couldn't believe my eyes what I saw.
She was really happy, and I was supposed to be the godmom of the baby.
She was always laughing, she was always smiling.
From her days as a cheerleader to her everyday interactions, she spread cheer and warmth to everyone she met. Nikaya had an infectious spirit, embodying the essence of a true cheerleader, not just in sports but in life itself. Her relentless optimism and genuine kindness left a lasting impression on everyone fortunate enough to cross her path. By the way, we post true crime stories and strange cases. If this interests you, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot and helps us continue sharing this content. Nikaya had a natural gift for finding joy in every moment, and her laugh was unforgettable, loud, bright, and utterly contagious. Her cheerful personality became a pillar of strength when she discovered she was pregnant. Despite the challenges, Nikaya wasn't worried. She had a strong support system and knew she could count on her loved ones for help. She embraced her pregnancy with excitement, juggling her schoolwork and preparations for motherhood with remarkable resilience. When she learned she was having a boy, she immediately knew what she wanted to name him: Noah. The name held deep meaning for her, representing the hopes and dreams she already had for her son, even before he entered the world. With every passing day as she felt her baby grow, her anticipation blossomed. Her joy culminated on December 11, 2022, at her baby shower. The event was everything Nikaya had dreamed of, filled with love, laughter, and the company of family and friends who poured their hearts into making it special. At 36 weeks pregnant, Nikaya was counting down the days until she could finally meet her son. The night was a beautiful celebration of new beginnings and a reflection of the vibrant, love-filled life Nikaya always led. However, beneath this bright chapter of her life, an unimaginable darkness loomed. Sibling relationships can vary widely. Some are close-knit, others distant, and many are a mix of love and frustration. For most, siblings are a constant, sometimes annoying presence that we cherish nonetheless. But not everyone is fortunate enough to have supportive siblings. For Nikaya, the bond with her sibling wasn't a source of comfort or safety, it would instead become her worst nightmare. Tragically, the joy and love that defined her life would soon be overshadowed by an unthinkable turn of events. Nikaya came from a small family consisting of her mother, and her older brother Aaron Jamal Dudley. While Nikaya shared a close bond with her mother, her relationship with Aaron was strained from the start. Nikaya always felt that Aaron harbored a dislike for her, a sentiment that seemed to stem from their significant age gap. Aaron was 15 years older. Such a gap often results in one of two dynamics: an older sibling acting as a bonus parent or a distant, difficult relationship. Unfortunately for Nikaya, it was the latter. From a young age, Nikaya made efforts to connect with Aaron, but her attempts were met with indifference or anger. When they were children, their mother dismissed their friction as typical sibling rivalry. But as they grew older, it became apparent that Aaron's hostility toward Nikaya wasn't a phase. No matter how kind, playful, or respectful Nikaya tried to be, Aaron's response was always marked by anger. For some children who grow up as only children for a long time, the arrival of a sibling can feel like a disruption, sparking feelings of jealousy or resentment. In most cases, these feelings fade with time and maturity, but Aaron never seemed to outgrow his resentment. His animosity toward Nikaya appeared to be a fundamental part of who he was. While Aaron didn't have an easy time forming relationships with anyone, he managed to maintain a few connections, including with their mother. This gave Nikaya some solace, as it suggested the problem wasn't entirely her. However, it didn't make living with Aaron any easier. Aaron was volatile, a ticking time bomb whose outbursts often targeted his family. As Nikaya grew older, she stopped trying to repair their fractured relationship and resigned herself to the reality that Aaron would never be the protective big brother she wished for. Instead, he became a source of torment. Nikaya did her best to coexist with him, finding moments of peace here and there, but it was a constant struggle. Things improved slightly when Nikaya started college, as her busy schedule kept her out of the house most of the day. However, everything changed when she became pregnant. Aaron's behavior, already difficult, became even more hateful. His outbursts intensified, and he seemed intent on making life harder for Nikaya. It was as if the impending arrival of her baby triggered something in him. Perhaps he viewed the baby as yet another competitor for their mother's attention, or maybe he simply disliked the idea of a baby in the house. Whatever the reason, Aaron's hostility grew more alarming. Nikaya began to feel increasingly unsafe around Aaron, whose mood could shift from calm to terrifying in an instant. By this point, Aaron was 41 years old, larger and stronger than Nikaya, and his rage was often overwhelming. One day, his behavior escalated to such a frightening degree that Nikaya and her mother could no longer handle it alone. Aaron's anger that day was more intense than anything they had experienced before. Nikaya feared for her safety and her mother's, and when their attempts to calm him down failed, they had no choice but to call the authorities. This moment underscored just how dangerous Aaron's presence had become in their lives. When the authorities arrived at the house, they quickly realized the severity of the situation. Aaron had become a clear danger to both himself and his family. Recognizing the need for immediate intervention, the officers transported him to the hospital, where he was placed under an involuntary 72-hour psychiatric hold for evaluation and treatment. During this time, a psychiatrist assessed Aaron's condition. To the surprise of many, the evaluation concluded that he was stable enough to be released. After the 72-hour hold expired, Aaron was discharged and released into the custody of his mother. Nikaya, however, was deeply troubled by this decision. She had voiced her concerns to the officers, making it clear that she did not feel safe living under the same roof as Aaron. Despite her fears, there was little they could do. Without a criminal offense to justify a longer detention, the law required them to release Aaron. What no one could have foreseen was how this release would set off a chain of events that would forever alter the trajectory of Nikaya's life. After the incident that brought the authorities to Nikaya's family home, her sense of safety was shattered. When Aaron was released and returned home, her fear only deepened. She couldn't shake the overwhelming feeling that something had changed within him. It wasn't just hatred anymore, it felt like he wanted her gone. The intensity of this intuition was unnerving, but Nikaya struggled to rationalize it. Why would her brother harbor such a profound desire to hurt her? She couldn't make sense of it, so she tried to dismiss the thought. Sadly, her instincts were far more accurate than she realized. On December 13th, her life took a turn. The day began like any other for Nikaya, who was nearing the end of her pregnancy. Just getting out of bed was a challenge, and she moved slowly through her morning routine. She still felt the exhaustion from her baby shower 2 days earlier. Despite her fatigue, she focused on preparing for her baby's arrival, spending her days ensuring everything was ready. That particular day, her mother was out, leaving Nikaya and Aaron alone in the house. Nikaya did everything in her power to avoid crossing paths with him, but in their small home, it was only a matter of time before their paths inevitably collided. When they did, Nikaya's worst fears came to life. Aaron stood in her way, a menacing look in his eyes that froze her in place. What followed was a horrifying escalation. Aaron, consumed by rage, wielded an ordinary kitchen utensil as a weapon. His actions were shockingly deliberate, targeting her stomach as though determined to ensure her unborn child wouldn't survive. Nikaya, paralyzed with fear, couldn't stop the brutal attack. By the time Aaron's fury subsided, the life had drained from Nikaya, leaving a tragic void where hope and anticipation had once flourished. Aaron carried Nikaya's lifeless body and placed it in a garbage bin. Under the cover of isolation, he pushed the bin along an unpaved access road near an apartment complex, not far from their home. Once he reached a secluded area where he believed no one would see him, Aaron set the bin ablaze with Nikaya's body inside and fled the scene. Returning home, he meticulously cleaned the house, attempting to erase any evidence of the horrific crime, then continued his day as though nothing had happened. Shortly after Aaron's heinous act, a maintenance crew passing by noticed the burning trash bin. As they approached, they were met with a horrifying sight. A body engulfed in flames, burned beyond recognition. Only a few acrylic nails survived the inferno. Horrified, the workers immediately called the authorities to report what they had found. Police quickly arrived, cordoning off the area to begin their investigation. The presence of uniformed officers and emergency vehicles drew the attention of nearby residents, who came outside to see what was happening. Meanwhile, back at the family's home, Nikaya's mother had returned and was growing increasingly alarmed. Nikaya hadn't taken her phone, purse, or any personal items, making it clear she hadn't gone far, and her mother's worry quickly turned to panic. As Nikaya's mother prepared to report her missing, she overheard neighbors discussing the discovery of a burning body nearby. Her heart sank, and a desperate prayer formed in her mind, that the body wasn't her daughter. Trembling, she rushed to the scene. Through tears, she informed the officers that her daughter was missing. When they showed her the remnants of the acrylic nails salvaged from the fire, her worst fears were confirmed. Recognizing the nails immediately, her heart shattered into pieces as she realized the unimaginable truth. The victim was her beloved Nikaya.
Well, good evening, guys. The family members have just confirmed that Nikaya was 8 months pregnant with baby Noah, and now comes right after the family just threw her a baby shower over the weekend. Now, 2 lives have been cut short, and we want to warn you that the details in this investigation can be very disturbing.
The officers began their investigation by speaking with neighbors, who described Nikaya as a sweet and joyful soul. Everyone had nothing but kind words for her, painting the picture of someone well-loved and admired. This left detectives with many unanswered questions.
Suspicions that it could be the brother may have been involved, and he ran for police, which is something very typical of a guilty person.
The autopsy only deepened the mystery. It revealed that the attack had been focused on one area of her body, her uterus, as if the true target had been her unborn child, and Nikaya was simply in the way. This discovery initially led detectives to suspect Nikaya's baby's father, theorizing he might have had a motive to harm the baby. However, the investigation soon took a surprising turn, pointing detectives in a completely different direction. As news of Nikaya's murder spread throughout Fresno, an outpouring of grief and anger followed. Residents were horrified by the senseless killing, and many came forward with information, eager to help bring the perpetrator to justice. Among the numerous witnesses, a few provided key details that advanced the case. One witness reported seeing a suspicious man pushing a green city garbage bin along an unpaved road near a housing complex before setting it on fire. Initially, the witness assumed the man was burning trash, but upon closer inspection, he realized something far more sinister was happening. Another individual corroborated this account, saying they had seen a man attempting to ignite a garbage bin but hadn't thought much of it at the time. The most critical breakthrough came from a witness who not only saw a man standing over what appeared to be a body but managed to take a photo of the individual. This evidence, combined with surveillance footage recovered by detectives, revealed a man pushing a trash bin down the street at the same time witnesses had reported seeing the fire. Upon closer examination, the man in the footage bore a striking resemblance to Aaron Dudley, Nikaya's older brother. This discovery turned the investigation on its head and brought detectives closer to unraveling the horrifying truth. At this stage, detectives had collected significant evidence pointing directly to Aaron. Witness statement and surveillance footage showed a man resembling him pushing a garbage bin down the street, but the investigators wanted additional proof before making an arrest. Officers who were at the crime scene also shared observations that raised suspicions. Notably, when Nikaya's mother arrived at the scene, frantic and searching for her daughter, she was alone. Despite mentioning having another child, her older son Aaron was conspicuously absent, which further piqued the detectives' interest. With this and other information, detectives secured a warrant to search Nikaya's family home, hoping to uncover more incriminating evidence. Upon arriving, they immediately noticed a green garbage bin outside the house. When they inspected it, they were struck by how spotless it was, an unusual detail for a bin, leading them to suspect it had been recently cleaned. Inside the home, the team found surfaces that appeared meticulously wiped down. However, a closer inspection under blue light revealed traces of gore throughout the house, confirming their belief that Nikaya had been killed there before her body was moved to the alleyway. The mounting evidence was enough for detectives to confront Aaron. When they arrived to question him, Aaron's reaction only solidified their suspicions. Realizing he had been caught, Aaron attempted to flee. His behavior, combined with the overwhelming physical and circumstantial evidence, led detectives to conclude that Aaron Dudley was responsible for the brutal murder of his sister Nikaya.
Developing now, authorities have made an arrest in the death of a pregnant woman who was murdered and set on fire in northwest Fresno. Her own brother now in custody, accused in the crime. Thanks for joining us for Action News Live at 5.
On December 14, 2022, just one day after the horrific crime, Aaron Dudley was arrested for the brutal murder of his sister Nikaya and her unborn son Noah. Authorities charged Aaron with the baby's death as well, given that Nikaya was far along in her pregnancy, and Noah would have been viable outside the womb at the time of the attack. Shortly after his arrest, Aaron appeared in court to enter his plea, declaring himself not guilty to both charges.
The department received a call on July the 28th of 2021, so about a year and a half ago, where the suspect in this case was deemed to be a threat to either himself or someone else, and was placed on I believe it was a 72-hour hold on the door to see what was going on. So this is not somebody who does not know what he's. It's pretty relevant in my opinion. I mean, it takes an awful lot of evil, hate. Planning to stab your own sister multiple times.
Although the case remains ongoing, prosecutors are confident in their ability to secure justice for Nikaya and baby Noah. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts about this heartbreaking case in the comments below. We value your input. We dedicate ourselves to delivering accurate and compelling true crime stories using information from reliable sources. If you appreciated this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon with another captivating story.